Rampage Jackson's son, Raja Jackson, was supposed to be doing some streaming, right? And he did a wrestling event. Now, there's some backstory and all this, and we'll unravel the whole story. But I'm pretty sure everybody has seen the punches and the body slam and the aftermath. I don't know, has anybody... JD, are you familiar with the situation?
Yeah, I saw it the other day.
We can't show the punches. I know, big shocker, big shocker. You can't show the punches, but just know Raja slides into the ring, picks up this wrestler, Psycho Stu, slams him on the ground. Psycho Stu then goes unconscious from the initial slam, and from there, Raja delivers 22 punches as counted by the community.
Yeah, 22 is crazy.
Is it 22?
Yeah, it definitely was north 20. So
Yes,
22 is very believable.
22.
Jesus Christ.
There were punches. He got slightly pulled off by somebody, went back in, but these were 22 punches. There's been an argument in the community about it landing or not landing. We'll get into that in a moment there, but just off top, we'll unpack the after and the beginning. Just off top, just initial reactions from the incident itself.
I thought it was a bit.
Yeah.
I thought I didn't. Well, I think because you see kick moments all over Twitter and every platform with that stake betting thing on the front or whatever. But I thought it was. I didn't know what it was actually. I thought I knew. I've seen Rampage Jackson and his son. I've seen them have funny moments on stream in the before. So I was like, oh, okay, he's at some event, and then the dude who cracked the beer on his head. I remember watching that and thinking, oh, is he mad at him? And then when I heard him say, I think he said, you're not going to sell it or something. And I think at that point, I'm like, oh, it's wrestling. And I got friends who are super deep into wrestling and I know of it. So I was like, I don't think he knows you're wrestling with him. Doing like a moment that would be wrestling. And then I guess they said something about how they talked about, you can come get your lick back later in the fight. But I don't know if they communicated that or someone else communicated to it, but I just know that when I saw it, I was like, oh, look at that. He's in the ring. Okay, he's pretty strong. I saw him pick him up. I was like, wow, that guy's good for Rampage. His son is strong. And then I saw him slam him, and then I saw him punch him. And I was like, wait, that's not, because now he's not selling the punch. He's getting hurt.
Yeah.
I was so lost. I was like, this is the wrestling WWE need to put in there. Right. And then I was like, oh, this ain't wrestling. He beating the dog out of him. He's really hurting him.
From my understanding, he was aware, the wrestler, he was aware that Ross was going to come in there and do something to him. But I don't think that, he thought that he was going to do that to him. I'm pretty sure he was thinking, along the lines of like maybe a wrestling move or, maybe some strikes or something. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
Yeah, but then he just picks him up and straight scoop slams him and knock him out, So me, being a wrestler, if I pick somebody up and slap them like that and I see that they're like unconscious, I'm kind of like, okay, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Maybe we need to do something. So he proceeds to get on top of him and then like hits him 20 times. And I'm like, dude, yeah, at this point, you're trying to murder this man, bro. Like that man had no idea that he was gonna come in there and get fucking almost killed. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like people kind of underestimate wrestling sometimes because people think like, like it's fake and all that stuff. But really stuff like that really happens all the time. And people be like, oh, well, was it fake? You don't really know. Like you're still thinking like, oh shit, was it planned or was it for real? But with wrestling, it's like you're putting your trust in somebody. You know what I'm saying? That's like the main thing that, we go about. Like you're putting your trust in somebody else's hand. So when you put your trust in somebody and then they like do something like that, it's just like, damn, man, like it's just like a cheap shot. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure that he wasn't expecting, that to happen. And I think it was like messed up. I think it was real messed up. You know what I'm saying? So that definitely shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen, anywhere. Yeah, it was hard to watch, honestly. When somebody sent it to me, I couldn't believe it. I was like, damn.
No, 100%. I think everybody can agree. Super egregious, super disgusting, super nasty. When I was watching it, I seen the beer can incident. I was like, oh yeah, he's obviously not in on this. He's really mad. This isn't a part of the bit. I've said this multiple times. This was a planned interaction, but the moment wasn't scripted. He improvised that. You can see it when they was interacting. He looked on the table, just what can I grab? Oh, beer can, cool. Smacked him with it. He didn't even smack him hard, which in the clip, Raja says it didn't even hurt. I just don't like. I felt disrespected, which hey, I get it. Me being a wrestling fan growing up and an MMA fan now, when he first got in the ring and picked him up, I was like, oh, okay. I'm following.
Yeah.
Then he hit him with a real Alabama slammer, and
that was
he
crazy.
was unconscious.
Yeah.
And I knew then, oh, this ain't wrestling no more.
Yeah.
And then he proceeded to start raining down strikes. I was like, yeah, this is real. And it super disgusting. There has to be some type of line about what kind of content Kick likes to get off on a platform, because this is starting to get disgusting. We're a week removed from that tragic incident over with the French streamers, I believe they were. The countless amount of other dumb moments and incidents that's happened with people getting attacked, brutalized, beaten, whatever it is on Kick over this last year. There's got to be a conversation about the kind of content and the kind of community that's cultivated over on Kick.
Only thing I got to say on this before Sage goes, I'm watching the video right now.
Yeah.
Bro, by punch 3, it is obvious that this is already too far. So I just like the most leeway I can give, bro, is by punch 2 to 3. It's like, okay, maybe still, maybe I don't know if he's unconscious or not. But by punch 3, it is obvious. It's obvious.
Yeah, well, I feel like if they didn't pull him off, he probably would have kept going too. That's the crazy part. So
he would have.
Like, damn, I'm glad
he would have
killed him.
And then somebody pinned him. I forgot when somebody pinned him and covered him. I was like, damn, they gonna cover the man after he just got knocked out like that.
Was there a moment before the beer can scenario that I missed? Because I feel like I haven't seen anything before that part.
Exactly. Yeah, that's
like, was there was there a conversation of, hey, we're going to a wrestling thing?
Right.
They might try to do wrestling stuff with you since you're streaming, and they want him to be in character. Because I think that's the part that kind of threw me off. I was like, oh, I mean, if they're in character and everybody knows that, like, hey, you know, everything is make believe, then we might sell some stuff. But I don't know why I don't remember seeing anything around like, you know, hey, maybe be prepared for them to be a little wacky, because that's just how it goes.
From what I've seen, he was told beforehand that he can come and he will be involved in some way, but he was never told in what capacity beforehand. From what I've seen, now there's more stuff that came out, cool, but everything I gathered, he was just told he would be a part of it in some capacity, pull up, enjoy yourself, and everything started happening on the fly. So he has his interaction with his wrestler. It's supposed to be staged. They're supposed to egg it up so he can get his get back when he comes in later. He doesn't know that Buddy doesn't even know he's gonna hit him with a can. Like he looks at him, by all means, he thinks he's another wrestler. He doesn't even I don't think the wrestlers knew, at least all of them knew a streamer was pulling up to be involved. He thought he was a worker. Like they say it, oh, I thought it was a worker, like a jobber or whatever the case is. So this was clearly a lack of preparation on the part of the promotion, in my opinion.
Well, so before because we're getting way down the rabbit hole. First, I want to start off by saying, shouts out to the franchise, ladies and gentlemen.
Bang, bang.
The franchise sends another $100.
This is a sick Negro.
To say, shouts out to Kevin King, but Tanar got pockets, gang. But don't get this shit started. Also, Omar, now after Thursday, this is the podcast host. Oh, I appreciate you. I can't wait for this Raja combo though. First case of hereditary CTE. Not gonna do too much, but yeah, we hot as wrestling fans. Franchise, I really do. We really do appreciate you for your contribution. Sage, I wanna bring you to the top as the resident wrestling fan on the pod, and this is part of the reason why I brought Blackjack on the podcast today, to have fans' perspective, to have people who have been experienced in the rings perspective, and just kind of break some of this stuff down. I got a pushback based off of the initial beer can hit, right? And I'm not gonna show the actual hit in question. We've seen the hit, right? So we don't necessarily have to show the hit, but just interaction post this is what I want to kind of play, and then we'll talk about. And that's what I'm gonna throw to you.
Oh, you don't sell it? Easy. He's not a fucking worker, bro. Calm down.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
You're good.
What the fuck was that?
You don't sell it? Dude, he's not a fucking worker, bro.
What the fuck was it? Hold on. I don't play that shit, bro.
Oh, sorry about
Nah,
that.
I will fuck him
we're
up,
good.
bro.
I know you will. We're good.
I will
Sorry
fuck
about
him
that.
up, bro.
I know you will.
Okay. Ooh.
Sorry.
Whoa. Hey,
It's a hard goddamn
Jumped her
cut.
so fast.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Jumped her so fast.
we gonna stop it.
Yeah,
Right?
that was weird. That was weird right there.
We'll stop it right there.
Yeah.
So
He
Sage,
obviously seems drunk too, so
who you think was drunk?
I think
Stu,
the
the Stu
wrestler, yeah,
guy.
Stu,
Okay.
yeah, he looks pretty intoxicated too. So I would consider that a factor as
Oh,
well.
okay. Well, Sage, let me ask you from your perspective in that situation. I'm pretty sure there's been situations on wrestling where things didn't go as expected before. Sage, do you think he should have continued from there, stopped, not entered the ring after that? What are you seeing when you see he just got hit in the head with a beer can and nothing happens?
Oh no, the show goes on. There's like hyperbolic moments where like there's times where let's say, and it hasn't happened in a quite long time, but let's say you really hate a wrestler, and hypothetically Randy Orton, you're wrestling Randy Orton, he RKO's you 1, 2, 3. You're supposed to sell that you got pinned, for example, right? Let's say there was a guy, he gets RKO'd, he just stands up, flicks him off, and walks out of there. Yeah, that's just. Like, I know unprofessional was a topic of the pod like a month ago, but that's not even unprofessional. That's just something that like get you blackballed. So what I'm kind of getting at is you continue going with it, but obviously you're dealing with somebody that's not, to my knowledge at least, a wrestler. He's just a professional combat guy, but he's not a wrestler. So at some point, you either give a receipt maybe, or at some point you had that conversation behind the stage for a receipt is essentially, damn, that kick, you actually kicked me in the face. I actually kick you in the face later in life or something like that. But to be honest, I'm sorry if I'm ruining my answer to your question. My answer is the show goes on. Personally, I don't give a damn about context here. And I know context is the word in 2025. Look, we just saw somebody try to kill somebody. What are we doing? What are we actually doing? Like, you got to be a level of sick to, and this isn't even on some just fighting, being soft stuff. Dog, you could be in the most messed up, shiesty, whatever situation you want to be in. When somebody is on their back like these, 99% of the time, everybody stops what they're doing. They're like, you got to be a certain kind of dude to then step on them after that. Give them an extra kick. Give them an extra punch. Let alone a dub. 22 of them? Man, so...
Yeah, the 20 people.
So that's why I'm like, honestly, y'all, I get it. We on the internet. We got to bring up the debates that people want to debate. Somebody always got to feel different for some reason, right? But for some reason, 1 + 1 got to equal 6 on one day and 2 on the other. Dog, someone got hit 22 times in the face unconscious. What are we actually yapping about? I don't know.
Let me ask, and this is again, let me ask Blackjack here. From your perspective as somebody who's been in a ring, been behind the scenes, more importantly, I'm sure you've seen a situation where the sell didn't go as planned and the job didn't go as planned, the work didn't go as planned, whatever the terminology is. From like Stu's perspective, what are you supposed to do when things don't go as planned? Because I think people are trying to give him some like, oh, you're supposed to do this beforehand. Like, you're supposed to know he's not with it type shit.
Well, usually if things don't go as planned, you want to just try to work on track to getting things back on plan. You know what I'm saying? That's if both of the guys are like, got a good relationship with each other and, don't have any heat and just want to continue to match. But I've seen instances where like one guy just didn't want to sell the other guy's moves and stuff like that. And the guy really start beating his ass for real. You know what I'm saying? And he just kind of like shot on him and finished the match and like really beat him up, because it's disrespectful. You go in there and you're not selling, the other guy's move. Like it's a team effort between two people. Both of y'all are in there put on the show and sell each other moves and put on a good product. So basically, for him to go in there and just basically what he did was he went into the business for himself. He used wrestling as an opportunity to take advantage of someone and damn near killed him. And he probably could have killed him, He damn near did, and probably could have got away with it too, because it's like real tricky, when it comes to wrestling. Because if he agreed to that, then it's kind of like, damn, you agreed to it. I know he didn't agree to like, almost dying. I'm sure he didn't know that was going to happen. So I feel like for him to go in there and take advantage of the situation is just messed up. But it happens all the time in the business. I see it all the time. It's just not talked about as much, but I've never seen it to that degree. I've never seen it to that degree. Because if it would have happened, like if that was just like two regular wrestlers and that would have happened, one of the guys would have probably, got arrested, would have never been brought back to that company again. It would have been a major, issue. But I feel like the fact that it was Rampage son, like they kind of just like, let it go a little bit. Yeah.
I want to ask JD too, because not the same situation, but similar situations. There's been times where you might have been doing a show or something like that, and it doesn't go as planned. Like you thought we were doing something, and somebody get on stage and might tell a joke. They might they might do something.
Just get on stage while I'm on there. Hell no.
No, not while you go on stage.
Oh,
but
like why? Yeah.
It's just not going as planned. So from your perspective, JD, like what? And again, I'm only addressing this because people have been giving Stu some sort of like responsibility. What can you do as somebody in the situation when things don't go as planned as a professional performer?
Well, I mean, I think it's like a crowd control kind of scenario because it feels like this whole thing could have been easily mitigated. I don't know why, but I think a part of it for me, because just to make sure I've got everybody's info right, I believe Stu is the one who got hit or slept unconscious. Raj obviously is Rampage's son, and all the other wrestlers were there. I think it's like the context of it was just so strange to me because it seemed like Raja took advantage of the situation where it's like, oh, I put myself in this, like, in this environment where these people are all about selling, and they're all honestly, it's like they see a camera, it's on, they're like, hey, we're putting on a show. Even if it's not for their own show, it's like we see that you're doing something with the camera. We're gonna really tap into those characters. And then I didn't see the apology because I keep seeing people in the chat talking about how there was an apology and that he should be a man about it and should have taken it and respected it. I haven't seen the apology, but I assume it was just that. And it's weird to have had that context of, hey, I'm sorry about doing that. If it was, I don't know if it was off stream or behind the scenes, or even if it was on stream, and then him being like, you can get me back in the ring later. Like, I don't know, do whatever. If I'm the guy who's wrestling, I'd be like, hey man, hit me with something I can handle. Maybe that's what I would have said. But I obviously, it seems though, regardless of that, Raja was so upset, like maybe on like a, I don't know, emasculation type of tip. Like as a man, you're making me look like a bitch or something. I don't know. So then he got in the ring and just took advantage of that scenario and didn't care what the scenario would be. Cause I know after the fact, there's that like monologue of him walking and being like, I just don't like people treating me like blah, blah, take advantage. And I was like, at that point, I was like, wait, oh, you, like, even though you knew it wasn't real, you were just that upset that you wanted to take it there regardless of the consequences. And in my opinion, if I see that at a comedy show, or because I do stand up, I've been in scenarios where the crowds, they get out of hand. And I try to like, you end up becoming some sort of like referee, especially if the crowd wants to crash out on each other or if they want to crash out on you. At that point, usually security should come in the room and they should come handle it, because I've seen too many videos where they don't move fast enough. But I think it's just, you understand, in entertainment, they call it reading the room. So if you can't read the room, or if you can't wrap your head around what's really going on in this scenario, then I don't know, hopefully someone else notices it and removes you from said environment, because obviously with what we're dealing with, something like this could happen. I think I'm just one of those people where I'm on the internet so much outside of being a traditional entertainer that I've like done both side to side for such a long time that I know people are so crazy that I wouldn't go back and forth with like a troll in the comments, because I'm like, they might come to a show and murder me. like they might not have the mental capacity to wrap their head around me roasting them online or roasting them in person. And I, at a certain point, if I could see someone like kind of losing their moral compass in a back and forth, then I'm like, oh, you know, I can be an adult about this and pull back and just be like, hey, you know, let's all get on the same page so that nothing crazy happens. I think that's what was missed in this scenario. I think it's like, I think the wrestlers are like, we're so busy selling the product, we didn't realize that we like fractured the psyche of a real human being. And also he is in the UFC or well, I don't know if he's a UFC, but he seems like a whatever you call it,
MMA fighter.
MMA fighter. So for him, MMA, I would assume in any regular scenario, an MMA fighter, if you disrespected me as from one MMA to another MMA, my bad for calling it UFC or him a UFC fighter, because he's probably not there yet if he wants to be one. I feel like two MMA fighters would have known what was up and they might have just started fighting each other. Yeah. They might have been like, they might have either said, let's fight right now without even having a conversation, or let's go get on the mat and see if you that nice on the mat. We could wrap our hands up and then a conversation is had. I don't know. A part of me feels like the worlds are too different from each other. So one was like, oh, hey, this is kind of our world. And the other is like, we don't play that there. And now, even though we had a conversation, one of them just refuses to wrap their head around it. I guess that's how it looks. But
well, for the sake of the conversation, I do want to give some grace to Stu here. This is one of the apologies, if I'm not mistaken.
You get it? I apologize. I appreciate it. I didn't know. I thought you were
Yeah, you didn't.
You stayed on camera. I get it. We're working out. Well, he's going to come out on your mat, too. I know you keep thinking we're working. We're always working. I get it. I get it now. Now you know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, that makes it worse. I haven't seen
this
that.
This was before
he said
got.
He was going to come out on the match, but he didn't say what he was going to do.
So much worse.
Like,
well, but so, and I'm glad everybody's picking up. I'm giving out bit by bit. Right. This was the third attempt. This was the third apology. He had apologized pretty soon after. A hand kind of knocked away, which understandable, heat of the moment. There was another one where they kind of, dapped up a little bit, and this was the third one where it was the acknowledgement. Wrestler said, we feel like we're always working. He said, hey, we're going to come out on your match. Cool. And Blackjack picked up on a very important thing. He says, but they don't discuss what they do. This is where all the wheels fall off. And this is where I think Damo definitely would like to take the conversation, because this is where everybody's just taking advantage of whatever moment. Behind the scenes, this is what is being told to Raja.
You run in on his shit, you fucking give him his receipt. You remember what a receipt is? Give him that fucking receipt, bro. Tag his shit. If you got a fucking problem with it, I'll fucking run out there. Tag his shit, bro.
Oh, so we got a green light.
All of this is messy.
Is that what I'm hearing?
This is really messy.
He in a very messy wrestling way, and he took that however he took that. Now, my issue is, and what's not being talked about or shown, is he took the apology, he squashed it or whatever. Now he's being told this, and now he's reading his chat. Now he's at the mercy of his chat saying whatever to him, and he's dealing with all of that.
He gave him more than a receipt.
It was egregious. It was thank you. He had way more than a receipt. He gave way more than a receipt. It was nasty. It was nasty. It was despicable. But like I said, the promotion definitely takes an L in this part too, because it was not clearly articulated or planned what was going on. They were just finding out on the fly what was happening, and that's horrible in this situation. Also, I need to stress this. This is 24 hours after he was kicked upside the head, and everyone can assume he's concussed. He should not, by any means, be doing anything. Rampage said it. Anyone who watches fighting knows.
Yeah.
He's concussed. I'm not trying to give him no excuses for what he did. He made a horrible decision, but I need people to understand he is not 100% there when he's making this decision, and he's sitting there getting antagonized by his chat, so he's not making conscious decisions. He's not. He is not making good, well thought out decisions. He is not. It's fuzzy up there, gang. I promise you it is.
How old is he, by the way?
25.
25.
25.
25. Wow. I thought
And
he
I'm
was
not
younger
trying
than
to
that.
I'm not trying to make an age like an excuse for his behavior, but from the clips, because I don't really consume Kick that often unless I'm hearing about a story like this. He's 25, and from every I think clip I've seen on the internet with him interacting with his dad, it's very much like a father-son power struggle. Who's strong, right? Am I tripping? Like I feel like I see Rampage always kind of antagonizing him with like, you think you're stronger than me now? Like, I don't know. I don't understand. Like my thing is, even though this was preventable, I don't know why anyone's surprised that he went off the rails and in an environment where his dad isn't around to kind of like tell him like, hey, you got to chill out here, because maybe that's the only person he respects. He doesn't exert his dominance on someone who he feels like demeaned him. Even after all that, now I will say 3 apologies is crazy to not click in, but 3 apologies to not click in, and then one guy coming down the hall telling you to like handle it. I don't know. It feels like a battle of ego and just masculinity at that point. And it's like, if my dad tells me not to be no bitch around anybody, why would I allow it to happen here in front of all these other men who might, because at the end of the day, it could be insecurity. He could be go home and be like, I'll never let a man disrespect me like that. Chat trolls you for the next 2-3 days, and then you got to deal with that because people look at their chat like it's their subconscious nowadays, which is crazy to me. So I don't think it's surprising that he did what he did. I do think there's a lack of like emotional intelligence there from his part. And also, if he was concussed in 24 hours prior, it just seems like a cocktail for like a bad situation.
Real quick, Blackjack, can you clear up some terminology? A receipt. What is that? I don't know what that is.
So basically, a receipt is like if I punched you in like the mouth, basically I'm expecting you to like punch me in the mouth later, accident. Because we're trained to like hit each other a certain way and not kill each other. Like we know how to like hit each other like hard without like physically harming the person. You know what I'm saying? Like without breaking anything. So like, sometimes you're gonna slip up. I've had my tooth knocked loose a couple times. I've been punched in the mouth. And, I've been in the business for like 5 years, and even though I've never even though I've been punched in the face and stuff like that, I've never really give receipts out like that because I know accidents happen and I know like the kind of business I'm in. And I know if something was like sincerely an accident, I'm like, okay, fuck it. I don't even care about that
So
shit.
then when do you determine that a receipt is necessary? And this not even necessarily personally from you, just as from one wrestler to another wrestler. I do like we did when we was kids. I pop you in your mouth, bam, right? No, let me stop. But when do
I feel
you
like
determine that?
if it was something like disrespectful, like if like that shit was just like disrespectful, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe like if somebody like just really just chopped the fuck out of me in the corner, like you know what I'm saying? Like the corner spot when one guy's in the corner and other guy's like slapping him on the chest or something like that. And I'm like, okay, that shit was kind of hard. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I got your ass. Like, next time I chop you, I'm finna chop the fuck out you. And then it becomes this battle of like, okay, now we just hitting the fuck out each other at this
Do
point.
you
You know
say
what I'm
that?
saying?
You don't say. Do you communicate that?
It's kind of like a mutual understanding. Like I was like taught like hit somebody as hard as they hit you. Like when I first started training and shit, I used to kind of hit soft. I didn't really know how to like really kind of hit somebody without hurting them. But like people was in there really beating my ass. So I was like, bro, fuck that. I'm not finna just, you know what I'm saying? I'm finna hit you as hard as you hit me. So like if you like hit me like in the mouth or some shit, like I don't know, I just kind of know, like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like
It's
you
like a
kind of
hard
know
foul
when
for a hard
something.
foul type thing in
Yeah, like,
basketball.
basically like that,
Yeah.
but if we've been doing pretty good the whole match and then something just like slip up, you punk, I'm like, okay, well, it happens. Like I ain't tripping. But if we've been kind of slugging each other the whole match and you give me a stiff one, like, yeah, I'm finna, probably
But
give you one harder.
there
Yeah.
could be a situation where we wrestling, you hit me, you hit me a little extra umph on it. Now we know mutually I'm gonna get you back, but it doesn't have to be that match. We can go future down the road, and then it's
See,
like,
that's crazy.
oh no, it's receipt time. Is that like a thing that we save these receipts, or it's like,
Hey,
oh no, you
man,
got to get it back quick?
if people holding on to receipts, bro, I think they're kind of crazy in a way. Like that shit's kind of like devious in a way. Like I don't know. Like Undertaker was talking about one spot where like Randy Orton actually like hit him in the face with the chair and it like peeled his skin and like he was really busted open. And he was like Orton was like so scared because like Taker was gonna give him a crazy receipt and Taker was like he never ended up giving him one because he know like, sometimes shit just happens. You know what I'm saying? Like it happens. But for somebody to hold on to a receipt, I feel like that's kind of crazy. Like me personally, I'm gonna just handle it that night. Like after the match, I'm be like, what was up with that? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not finna,
Oh, okay, fine.
prolong that shit.
Well, so then so
Hmm.
Sage, because this really opens up the conversation for who's to blame. We get it.
Hmm.
Raja should have never did what he did. Full stop. Just there's no questions to be asked. Sage, they did not train him before this. There was no conversations about how receipts work. There was no conversations
Hmm.
about how to deliver blows. There was no conversations about
Hmm.
understanding when he was knocked out. Some of that stuff I'm really reaching on because he should probably know when he's knocked out. But Sage, especially
Had
people
to
like Donald,
come
they're
in.
saying, yo, this is the problem with this is that he was never properly trained. What say you to people trying to give blame to the promotion and everything that was going on there?
Could have been
Yeah,
handled
man.
better.
I think honestly, it's everybody's
Hold on,
fault. I
hold on,
feel
Malik.
like
What?
everybody took a L.
Sage, go ahead.
Wait, can't. Okay.
I said could have been handled better, but again, somebody was about to kill somebody on camera. I don't.
Hmm.
No, he's
I'm sorry.
I feel it.
I don't. I hate to be the boring guy today, but dog, I don't feel like I gotta be obtuse or entertaining all the time, bro. Y'all. Niggas so fake gangster to me sometimes, bro. Y'all sit here and talk about people potentially dying or people potentially taking life away, and it's like, well, don't talk crazy. Well, don't do this. Well, hey, maybe if he had told him, bro. At some point, your brain, I get he concussed, but at some point, dog, a life about to be taken away from your bare hands, bro. Tripping.
Hmm.
I don't even have nothing else to really say on it. So
Yeah,
y'all can go crazy.
sometimes we just play like the accountability Olympics too much on like trying to figure out who has the most to blame or who should
Hmm.
even get 100% of the blame in certain instances. But like, I think what Omar's trying to get at here, and I agree with him, this is like a multifaceted thing with a bunch of different like moving parts,
Hmm.
and it isn't just on bro for punching dude out. Like, there's definitely some fault for the promoters as well. So.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel
Um,
like everybody could, take a blame on that one. I feel like it was just poor communication too, and I'm pretty sure Raj he didn't pretty have, that much experience on the wrestling world, honestly. He probably didn't know a lot of stuff too, and just miscommunications and definitely him, having some anger issues as well too, but I feel like everybody could be blamed and it could be learned from, this situation. I feel like it's definitely a learning experience too. Cause celebrities get a pass too to like come into like the wrestling world and you know what I'm saying? And come in there and get to do stuff. And I feel like it's kind of unfair to the people that like actually trained and like went to school and stuff like that. And sometimes wrestlers will feel some type of way, like and you know, fuck up the celebrity. It was a time when GCW, it's this wrestler named Nick Gage, and he was fighting David Arquette, the Hollywood actor, and he was trying to come in there and do deathmatch wrestling. And, Nick Gage told him like, bro, this shit's real. You know what I'm saying? Like, you coming in our world, like, be prepared for whatever to happen. And I feel like it can go both ways. So, you know.
I wonder if they train people. Well,
Mhm.
different organization. I wonder if they train people like Speed and Logan Paul and Jake Paul or whatever the case may be.
They
I
do,
hope
or at
so.
least they prepare him for a spot. But then you have situations like one of the infamous ones recently. Travis Scott just rocked
Yeah.
Cody
And
Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes,
It
yeah,
was
see.
crazy. Like they prepare for spots. Obviously, everyone going into it knows that
Hmm.
it's fake, but bumps are real. All the other stuff we can get into that for a different
Yeah.
day. But yeah, no, Cody Rhodes, his head is on the ground. Hey, Trav, not the best idea for you to take your AP and whoosh that man on their forehead. So it's one of those things like that.